The day after the night before. Ended 0-0 in the end, which meant that Real Madrid advanced to the semi-final stage of the Champions League with a 3-1 aggregate lead. And it's a missed opportunity for Liverpool, honestly. It was a long shot in my mind, anyway, whether Liverpool could go through against Real Madrid. The way we started the game was very, very impressive right up until actually putting the ball on target or in the back of the net. First things first, Real Madrid did what they had to do. They defended really, really well. We still had a lot of chances. That opening 20-25 minute blitz by Liverpool, that is where we needed to have taken our chances. There was a good chance, there was multiple chances where we could have easily been 1 or 2-0 up inside the first 20 minutes. We really, really could have been. And it's disappointing in a way, but I take a bit of heart and a bit of pride from it, and I'm sure that the players will as well. They'll be disappointed, but that performance throughout the entire 90 minutes was a complete mirror opposite of what we did in the first leg. If we'd have played like that in the first leg, I think James Milner said this as well, if we played like that in the first leg and the second leg, maybe the result would have been a little bit closer, could have actually maybe fallen a little bit in our favour. But it is what it is. Real Madrid advance into the semi-finals, and how do I feel? It's disappointing not to go through, not to be in the mixer with the likes of PSG, Man City, Chelsea as well. And they are going to be some good semi-final games right there. Chelsea versus Real Madrid and PSG versus Man City. If I'm being totally honest, and I'm not knocking the Premier League sides, because I do think that both of them, Chelsea and Man City, could advance, and you see another Premier League final. I personally think it's going to be PSG versus Real Madrid, but we'll see what happens. It's going to be exciting to watch it. Even though we're not involved in it, it's going to be exciting to watch it just as a fan of football. But in general, what am I thinking? We now know that we need to go full throttle for top four. We knew that anyway in some respects, but being out of the Champions League now, but seeing what we've been able to do against, even like the likes of Aston Villa, come back and win that game, in this game against Real Madrid, put in a good performance, and probably a very good, as weird as it sounds to say, a good attacking display without actually getting the ball in the back of the net. It sounds weird to say, I know it does, it probably sounds weird to hear, but it was. The chance creation was really up as well. There was just some moments where you just felt if something goes a different way, if Bobby Firmino's pass to Trent Alexander-Arnold actually gets on target and doesn't drift to the Real Madrid player, maybe something could happen there. It's fine margins at this level. Real Madrid deserve to go through. A lot of people are turning around saying that Casemiro should have been sent off for what he did for James Milner. But if you really look at it, James Milner could have been sent off for what that tackle he did quite early on against Benzema, where he goes through and takes the ankle as well. It's ifs and buts. Like, people always say that Real Madrid are the masters of shithousery, but everybody knows that. You need to come up with a way to combat that as well. And we played much better than I expected we were going to. I felt that we could win this game, but I didn't think that we would win the tie. I felt that Real Madrid would score, and they didn't. I will also say, I don't think Real Madrid went at this game as hard as they did in the first leg. They got the job done in the first leg. Yes, we scored an away goal, but we didn't take advantage of that when we played at home, when we played the second leg. Real Madrid got the job done by scoring 3 goals, being clinical, and being an absolute nuisance for us. Our defence played well. Nat Phillips and Kabak both. In fact, the entire back four were brilliant. They snuffed out danger. Trent was able to defend and get forward. Robertson was the same, defend and get forward as well. There was a lot of times when Robertson was actually further forward than Sadio Mane. And Alisson made some key saves as well. So it kept it, they didn't have many shots, they didn't have many chances, but the chances that they had were dangerous, but we dealt with them. And that was good. That was good to see that we'd learned from last week as well. But in the same breath, they didn't go for it like they did like last week. So we do have to take that into consideration a little bit, as well as we played. If Real Madrid wanted to turn it on, say if we'd scored a goal or we scored 2 goals, I'm pretty sure that Real Madrid possibly could have gone up a gear. Um, we found it much more stifling in the second half when they brought on a couple of players. They started Valverde as a left back, however you say his name, as a right back, sorry. And then later on in the second half, they brought in Odriozola, put him at right back, and they put Valverde into midfield, and we found it much more difficult, especially once it got past the 80th minute. You could see all of our effort, all of our tenacity had basically been the tanks were empty. We were scraping the barrel, and it was really, really difficult. Once it got past the 80th minute, it was just kind of like they've done well. They haven't been able to put the ball in the back of the net. They're done. They're spent. The ideas, the chance creation, stuff like that had all gone by that point, and it was that was it. That was the tie done. So we inflicted our own damage in the first leg by not being at the level that we were last night. If we were at that level last night, a week ago, this tie could have been different. Hey, hindsight is always 2020. It is what it is. We just have to move on. Got a difficult game coming up against Leeds as well. My God, that is going to be a difficult game, isn't it? Really, really difficult game. But I want to go through the lineup just a little bit as well. I won't keep you too long today. But the lineup in general, I felt was okay. I felt was decent. It was all right. I was a bit concerned that Jota didn't start, and then his introduction into the game was also a bit late, in my opinion. I still, not really anything wrong with Sadio Mane's performance. It was still a little bit below his level, a little bit better than he has been recently. I'll give him that. I still would have gone with Shaqiri in that left wing spot. You could put Jota there, but I think Jota actually seems to do a bit better up front, which is why I always seem to champion the 4-2-3-1, because you can still have Bobby Firmino involved while having Thiago, while having Jota up front as well. I felt that the back line was solid. It was very, they were calm. They were looking out for each other. Any mistakes were mopped up quite well, or Alisson dealt with really, really well as well. And the most contentious point of all for everybody, and I would say even myself included as well, I had said in my preview that if Milner was included in this lineup, I wouldn't be opposed to it, and I wasn't opposed to it as well. It was a very, very good midfield for us for this particular style of game. You've got, I think, a Twitter account I did see, I think it might have been the Tactical Times, said Gini Wijnaldum, Fabinho and Milner in midfield are warriors. They're not necessarily going to give you the greatest amount of technical ability, which other players could possibly do, but that's not what was needed. We got ran over in the first leg. Got absolutely ran over and dominated in the first leg. But in this leg, we were able to sort of basically have a bit more of a handle on the midfield. A lot of people are saying that we dominated the midfield. I would say the opening exchanges, 15, 20, 25 minutes of the first half, I would say yes. That was a whole team performance where we were pushing, and we were pushing for an early goal. Once the game started to settle back down, it was a bit more end-to-end, but we were able to compete with their midfield. Not necessarily, dominate their midfield, but we were able to compete on a much fairer level, on a level playing field with their midfield. That's how I saw it. I wouldn't say we dominated the midfield throughout, because I don't think that we did. But I felt that we were able to go up against their midfield with ours much better than we did last week as well. But again, I will say, I don't think Real Madrid were going at it as full throttle as they were last week as well. But I can't question the lineup, because they did everything that they could. They absolutely gave everything that they could to try and get a good result in this tie. It just didn't happen. You can't have 15 shots in a game and only have 4 on target and score no goals. Like, it just can't happen. It really can't. Now, a lot of those chances were maybe from positions that weren't optimum, or they were from outside the box. They were maybe on someone's wrong foot. I know Bobby Firmino took a shot that went over the bar, and it was with his left foot as well. These things happen, and it's. I was just much more pleased with the application of the players and the fact that they went out there, they gave it everything that they could, they threw everything that they could at Real Madrid. It just so happened that, and there is no shame in saying this, it just so happened that Real Madrid were better than us this year. That is just as simple as it is. They were better than us. They defended really, really well in this game. They didn't have to go for it. They could have killed the game if they scored an away goal, if they'd have caught us on the counter. But honestly, I was pleased to have a much more improved performance by Liverpool. Hopefully that can lead into a bit of a run to get into the top 4, to get into the Champions League places and stay there at the end of the season. We still, in my opinion, we've got quite a difficult run in. Got Leeds coming up next. We'll cover that one in the next couple of days. Anyway, thank you ever so much for watching this video. I hope you have enjoyed it. If you have, please do like it and subscribe if you're new around here. Thank you once again. Please do take care of yourselves. Have a good day, and I'll catch you later.